wanna do, I already done it. And I got your little boo telling me she love me. I got this one, that one. Damn, it's gonna be a long night.
Hello guys, what is up? It is your boy Prince of What Ifs back here with another video, and today I am doing the third part of What If Deku had Whitebeard's powers. Honestly, I'm kind of on a roll. If I can consistently post this stuff like almost every day, that would be dope because it's only like 10 parts and I'm hoping to finish it real quick but also, efficiently, and I guarantee this part will be awesome. So enjoy yourself. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell to stay up to date on all of my videos, and I will be posting on the second channel I'm in with Dark King. I'm just trying to figure stuff out. I'm also working on what if Naruto has spiral power. If that works out, then it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm just trying to test stuff out. And yeah, also what if Asta had Yuta's powers will be coming soon. I'm just trying to finish the script. I will try to even make more in advance before I post it, but hopefully you guys will get it soon. And without any further ado, let's recap. In the last part, we begin with 1A going to the USJ, and as they're shown around and inspired by the Hero 13, however, the villains would attack, and quickly they are taken out by Deku's release of Conqueror's Haki, and as the Nomu is brought in along with the other villains, it tries to attack. Bakugo redirects its attack, and Todoroki flash freezes it. It breaks out, but Deku destroys it himself, and Aizawa would jump in, knocking out the Shigaraki and reprimanding Deku, but of course he is grateful. After this, an investigation is put underway, so all the UA students get a day off. When they come back, the UA Sports Festivals is announced, and soon 1A and everyone take a 2-day week training period to better their skills. Deku will train Uraraka a lot, and when the day comes, the first challenge is up is the obstacle race. Deku absolutely beats everyone. Along the way, Bakugo even shows up to Todoroki in skill and speed. No matter how much he tried, Todoroki never caught up to him. The cavalry battle, however, saddened Deku since everyone was too scared to attack him head-on, so his team won that easily, and he didn't really like it that way. After this, a break is taken, and Todoroki pulls in Deku to talk about his life and tell the truth about Endeavor and his own past, and this brings back quite a traumatizing memory for Deku. Todoroki then leaves after the talk, as Bakugo, who listened in on the conversation, comes out to comfort his best friend, and then they go eat, and the one-on-ones are up next, and Deku fights Shinso, only with his conqueror spirit, but he holds out, earning everyone's respect, including Deku's, before losing consciousness. Then other fights go on. Uraraka fought Bakugo and lost, but Bakugo shows her respect by even helping her up after not holding back on her, and Uraraka shows some awesome new skills and a new weapon that she had used to distract and knock Bakugo off balance for her final attack. It didn't work, but you get the point. Then Deku and Todoroki soon fought, and Deku showed him what he meant all the time when he said that he was not allowing his will to fully take control of him and do what he wanted, and this allowed Todoroki to release his full power with a big smile on his face. And then after the fight, Deku obviously won. Soon he and Bakugo fought, but Bakugo lost. It wasn't a drawn-out fight though, it was one final clash which they both agreed on from the beginning. They're then given medals and get a day off, with everyone then dealing with their own things, such as Todoroki going to meet his mom, but Ida had to witness his brother's downfall, as I said in the last part. We begin this part with a flash forward as the 1A students find themselves at the train station with their suitcases in hand as they prepare for their internships. "You have everything?" Aizawa would ask them. "Yeah, costumes, clothes, we're good, sensei." "Alright then, scatter." With a nod of their head, the students start to say goodbye to one another, with Todoroki then coming up to Deku and saying, "I hope you find what you're looking for." "Never thought I'd hear that out of you," Deku would sigh. And as he laughs, Kirishima then asks, "Hey Midoriya, you're going with Aizawa-sensei, right?" Deku would then puff out his chest and proudly say yes, since Aizawa is his favorite hero, and Kirishima would say, "Honestly, you're both pretty intense. It works." "Midoriya." Deku then turns to see Aizawa call him, and he runs towards him whilst waving goodbye to everyone else, and he says, "Oh, and Ida?" As he calls out to Ida, he would then stop and face him with Deku smiling. "Don't do anything stupid, alright?" "Of course not. I'm the vice president." We then fade to black. As night falls, we go to Naruhata City, where atop a certain building, Deku and Aizawa stand. "So this is what you see all the time. It's so dark in here, but so bright at the same time," Deku would say. "Don't get excited. I'm trusting you, Midoriya. Don't let your recklessness take over." Deku would then nod, getting a bit more serious and putting away his smile as he would then immerse himself in the moment. Aizawa then jumps off the top of the building, and Deku follows as he would start running down the side of it, and as he gets closer to the ground, Aizawa uses his scarf or his cloth to latch onto a lamppost and swing back into the sky. Deku would then jump off that very same lamppost and follow after him. Anything could happen at any time, Aizawa would say. And as he says this, they then fly past some people who start to take pictures, recognizing the heroes, Aizawa, But then Deku notices murderous intent with his haki, as sirens would then begin to be heard from far down the street, and screams would be heard as well. Midoriya, as I would say, and Deku would nod as he blasts off down the street to two thugs riding down Wally down the road, and one would be on top screaming and just going crazy, while the other one was firing a gun off into the sky while he was inside the car, just to make people a little bit scared. Hey, it's a hero, the one on the roof would say, as he then opens his mouth, releasing 4 rockets towards Deku, who would then punch the air, causing a crack to burst right before the man's stomach, sending him flying, while Deku then punches all the rockets to the sky, and they explode there, while the other villain then rides off, and Deku would land, asking the people if they're okay. We're fine, thank you. What about the other guy? As they ask this, though, they hear the sound of gunshots go off one last time, just as they try to see Aizawa walk out of the car, dragging the villain out with his scarf. Move it, Midoriya. This would make Deku smile, as this is why he loves Aizawa so much. Everything he does is just so calculated, and the civilians are impressed and realize that it's a Razorhead over there. But who was this new hero in front of them? They asked him this, but Deku said, "Oh, I'm just in my internship stage. Sorry, but I have to go back to work." He then runs off and gets the guy he knocked off the roof of the car, and after he does, he waves goodbye to the people who wish him good luck. And as Deku runs back to Aizawa, he says, "Good work. For our first time together, this was pretty awesome. I feel like a real hero." I didn't know he learned to minimize his quakes like that. It's a good idea, Aizawa thought. Keep using small-scale quakes like that, but if you feel you can't control it enough, tell me. Deku would then nod, and they move out, and they take the police car that the criminals had stolen, along with the money they took back to where it belonged before then going back on patrol. We are now actually going to have a flashback to a few days ago, when we see Todoroki enter the hospital room of his mother. As she turns to face him, Todoroki would feel something just squeeze his heart. It was just this uneasy feeling, but it also felt liberating as he said, "Hi, Mom." His mom then returns the sentiment, calling out Shoto's name, making him feel a bit more relieved, and we have the end of the flashback, as we then see Todoroki walking down the street with Endeavor, as they then find all the attention on them. "I'm sorry for this. I wanted this to be a more private thing," Endeavor would say. "I don't care, I just want to get stronger. I didn't exactly come to bond," Todoroki would say. While this hurts Endeavor, he's not surprised. In fact, he thinks he deserves it, but he will still teach Todoroki. As they walk out, however, out of nowhere, Endeavor would blast off, as Todoroki would quickly run after him and turn a corner to see Endeavor having stopped the car from hitting a civilian. "If you want to get stronger, then first off, we'll focus on reaction time. Think you can keep up? I'm not slowing down for you." As civilians and the rescuee thank Endeavor, Todoroki says he will because he will have to, and he will not back down. As for Bakugo, we will find him blasting through the sky, as Best Genius will be ahead of him using his threats to move. "Are you sure you don't want me to give you a haircut?" the hero asks. "Touch my hair, and you die." As he says this, the hero would then say to be less violent, as it freaks people out when he says things like that. And as he says this, they then look down to see a mugging happening. But as soon as it does, the hero then sees Bakugo appear right beside the perpetrator, as he then rips away the woman's stolen purse from him, while also slamming him to the ground with a punch to his stomach. "Here, take it." He hands the purse to the woman, who then thanks him just as Best Genius would land down, and the woman would then ask if he was his sidekick. "He's an intern." "Oh, you're a student. I remember you from the UA Sports Festival, actually. I'm a big fan. Good luck out there. I'll be rooting for you." As she runs off back to where she was going, Best Genius would then ask how he feels, and Bakugo would say, "It's weird. Sorry about going on ahead, but you don't mind, right? More on me next time." We will have now a 3-day time skip as the internships then continue. Depending on what heroes and each student do, they had to like, what's it called? They had to focus on certain activities. It didn't matter if they didn't want to or not. They sometimes had to do community service or photo shoots like Kendo and Momo. Deku and Todoroki and Bakugo, however, fully went in. They investigated, fought, and rescued as much as they could because people were recognizing they were like the trio of 1A, and it was caught on the news a bit. However, on the 4th day at Hosu City, an incident would occur as Nomus would attack, flying ones, buff ones, and they just begin to terrorize everybody. The first to start rescuing, however, would be Best Genius and Bakugo. A couple is about to be attacked by a flying Nomu gliding down at them, but Bakugo would then come in right with the right hook to the creature's brain, while also firing an explosion, completely killing it. Close range explosion punches. I wonder what I should name it. As he kills that Nomu, however, a buff one would then attack, only for it to be restrained by Best Genius, as Bakugo would then notice it and land down before then throwing an uppercut explosion to the creature's brain, killing it, as more heroes then arrive following after them and helping as much as they can. "I'll leave the Nomus to you," he would say to Bakugo, who would then gain a huge grin, as elsewhere where heroes are having trouble saving people, they find themselves surrounded by Nomus, only for someone to then yell, "Duck." As the heroes do, Bakugo would then fly over their heads and over the heads of the creatures, or releasing massive waves of explosions, but concentrated explosions that kill all of them one by one. After the ruckus passes, the heroes and rescuees see that they were safe, but they also saw Bakugo going crazy and destroying other Nomus far down the line, and he was doing so with ease and such expertise you would have thought he was a pro. AP shot, Bakugo would say, as he would then be mid-air and releases multiple shots, killing these bastards as he refers to them before then landing down. Not bad, he would think to himself. As he takes a little break though, in the corner of his eye, he then sees Backdraft, or the water hero that Ida went with. If that's not his name, please tell me. I honestly don't remember that much, and we're gonna have a little flashback. As Deku and Bakugo sit at an open fire on their camping trip, they are alone. Currently, their parents are going to get more firewood, and Deku would say, "Look out for Ida." Huh? What about the Four Eyes? Bakugo asked. My Haki felt nothing but pure anger when we were in class last time. He's probably gonna do something stupid. We then end the flashback as Bakugo would then quickly tell Best Genius that something urgent came up and he asked for his permission to go meet up with a friend. Why? Because the idiot's gonna get himself into trouble, Bakugo would say. Only get him and come back, nothing more. Bakugo then nods and blasts off into the city as he then meets another flying Nomu who he blows away before then speeding up and searching for something particular, alleyways. Clearly, Ida is mad over his brother being hurt by the hero killer, so he may be going after him. But the one common thing about the hero killer is that his victims mostly are found in alleyways. So if anything happens to Ida, or is about to happen, he would find them there. As he flies over the city, his natural instincts then just pick up pure, intense bloodlust, and he then moves down fast. Getting closer and closer, Bakugo comes to find Ida about to be stabbed in the back by the killer, but using howitzer impact, he slams his hand into the killer's face, on impact sending him flying into a wall and denting it. As Bakugo lands, Ida would then recognize this usage of quirk and say, Bakugo? What are you doing here? Instead of talking though, he would then simply grab Ida and Native, who was nearby, and lift them up with relative ease. What the? Let me go. When did you get so strong enough to carry a grown man this easily? I always could. Now shut the hell up. You're lucky that idiot was smart enough to notice how deluded you were. Midoriya told you? As he asked this question, Bakugo would then notice something and drop the two, as he then dodges to the left, and the knife would thrust past him. Using his explosions, he then quickly spins and appears above the villain with a kick, shocking Stain. He's that explosion kid from the festival. For a kid though, he's really battle-hardened, Stain thought. Bakugo then slams an axe kick into his stomach, causing a slight shockwave, as the villain would then crater into the ground, losing consciousness, which he did not expect. Ida is then left completely astonished by this pure skill of his classmate. What exactly were you gonna do if you died? Bakugo said. You think that Ingenium would feel better? That make him feel better? What do you think, huh? Ida would then say, this isn't about you. Oh, but it is, Four Eyes, Bakugo would say. Because you became part of our little crew, our team, you can't just do whatever you want. You want to be a hero, right? Well then, this is when you really show it, big guy. As he says this, the quirk then actually deactivates on Ida because Stain is out cold, and he would then slowly get up as Bakugo actually moves out of the way. Free game, man. Even Deku called that hit strong. He ain't getting back up. Deku? Ida asked. It's a nickname. Just hurry up. Ida then clenches his fist as he then starts to truly think about the consequences of his actions and what they could bring. And in that seething anger, it's something that he just cannot, that anger cannot just be put away that easily. But ironically, the words that kind of stop him were the ones told to him by Bakugo. Then how the hell is a Four Eyes like you so confident in himself? Returning to present, Ida would then say, I'm confident in one thing. Someone like him doesn't deserve to live. I refuse to believe he can change, and no one can tell me otherwise, but I'm also confident that I'm a hero. I'll never change that about myself. To this, Bakugo would then smile, grabbing him by the shoulder. Good for you, Vice President. As he says this, someone then arrives behind as the two then turn to see Gran Torino come along with Best Genius. The hero killer? The elder said. At this point, Native then recovers control of his body and stands on his own, thanking Bakugo for taking down the villain. He ended up being taken down by a kid. What a world we live in, Gran Torino thought. Best Genius then walks over as he picks up and drives the villain, saying Bakugo made a good decision. Duh, you don't need to be telling me the obvious. He then walks out to the streets, and they all do, and see more heroes, and they recognize Bakugo. They do recognize Bakugo and Best Genius, but also ask what the hell he was doing here before then seeing Best Genius walk out with Stain. Oh my god, the hero killer! Genius took down the hero killer! The fuck you say? That was me, Bakugo would yell. As he points to himself, the heroes are about to tell him off, only for Genius to say that it is true, shocking them. Be happy the police isn't getting involved, Best Genius says. What the hell are they gonna do? I got permission. I'd love to see them try something. A shriek is then heard as from above a flying Nomu goes for Bakugo, who prepares to attack just as Stain would then jump past him to the surprise of everyone as he then locks the creature's head in between his legs. Quickly, they all move out of the way as the two would then fly past them and crash, but even then, Stain would hang on and strangle the creature with his legs, cutting off its oxygen and killing it, impressing the heroes. How the hell is... He's unconscious, Bakugo would say. As Bakugo says this, they all get confused, only to then take a closer look to see that as he stands, he is basically halfway out of consciousness, but he is simply holding on by sheer will. As he begins to stumble forward, he then speaks, "All for the betterment of this ruined society. I don't care if they're heroes or villains. You're all a target of my purge, so I dare you, just try and test me." His look becomes more murderous, releasing pure bloodlust that would terrify them all, as they cannot even move. It's just like Izuku, reinforced by sheer will. That's insane, Bakugo thought. At this point, Endeavor would arrive with Todoroki saying, "Hey, what the hell are you guys doing?" Even the second strongest hero freezes in his tracks, unable to even stand the pure power of the hero killer's determination. Todoroki also compares it to Deku's haki, but while his may be weaker than Deku's, it's dangerous nonetheless. "Only a hero like All Might can take me down, not some fakes." As he takes another step, he will then call out for them to attack, but none of them could even do so until Stain soon stops, screaming at the top of his lungs, and they see that he is fully out now, and he has truly lost consciousness. "Was that his quirk?" Endeavor would ask. Ida, however, says no. "He paralyzes you by taking your blood. That was probably just pure bloodlust." At this point, some of the heroes would fall to their butts, feeling too weak in the knees, and news of this spreads, since the hero killer is very dangerous. But it also showed that UA was gathering the best of the best, but that moment, that fear that Stain put into them would never be forgiven or forgotten by these heroes. Obviously, he made them piss their pants. That's also kind of a dick move. Anyway, soon, the internships come to an end and everyone returns to school. However, as they do, something is different about Bakugo, as Deku will be laughing as he points to his new haircut, along with Kirishima and Sero. "Dude, what happened to you?" Sero would ask, and Bakugo would say, "Shut up, you won't go back to normal, alright? You look just like him. Here, I'll help you." He would then grab him by his head and go to fix him up, but finds that he can't, and would lift him up by the head as he would shake him around like a toy, but it still didn't work. Wow, it really won't go back to normal. Vegeta's is something else. "Can you stop, you bastard? I'm gonna barf. God damn it, let me down." "Oh, my bad," Deku would say, as he would then put him back down, just as Deku then congratulates him on being the hero killer, and everyone says the same as they asked how he was in person. "Oh, on that subject, I apologize, Ida," Momo would say. "We should have made an effort to console you." "Yeah, I just didn't really know how to do it," Ojiro would say. Ida, however, says it's fine. "I never should have gone out myself. It was very unhero-like, but I am back on track. I would never do such a thing again." "Good, because messing with someone like that, I don't know how you did it," Ojiro says. "Having someone like that attack the school would be terrifying." "I mean, yeah, but his single mind track and tenacity is kind of cool, right?" Kaminari would say. He then apologizes for saying this, but Deku would say that was the coolest thing ever, making everyone look at him with a glare, but he does not take it back. "You're lying if you say you didn't find that shit cool. Him hurting Ida's brother is what it is. I'm gonna rip him to shreds myself if I could, but you have to admit when an individual is amazing. It's just fair." "But you're saying it so lightly though," Mineta says. "Yep, I don't know why you expected much else from me." "Okay, yeah, that's fair," Kaminari says. "Alright, students, suit up." To the front of the class, All Might would then run in as he poses and he says it's time to see how much they've grown. "Fun. I made something special I want to show off," Deku says. "Me as well," Todoroki says. Quickly, they all change and go to a new field, Ground Gamma, made of nothing but pure metal, all intertwined to seem like a puzzle. And as they stand just outside it, All Might would be trying to essentially explain the lesson plan, although horribly, but he ended up saying that they were doing a race. Whoever made it first to him won. So they head in, and first up for the first group up is Deku, Sero, Ida, Mina, and Ojiro. As everyone watches from the platform and look at the monitor, they start to place bets on who they think will win. Honestly, Midori is strong and really fast, but his movements don't match this kind of environment, Jiro would say. It doesn't suit him. I'm going with Sero. Momo agrees, but Uraraka instantly goes for Deku, and Bakugo then said, "Did you hear what he just said a few minutes ago? He made a new move. Trust me, you're about to see something bizarre. Really bizarre." As he says this, Ome would then say to begin, and Deku burst past everyone, obviously getting ahead, but what happened next was indeed bizarre. As Deku kicked behind himself, he formed a crack that then catapulted him forward and towards All Might at intense speed. As he went further and further, he jumped about, forming more cracks and pushing himself further and further. "Skywalk!" Deku would yell. Soon he would then crash right beside the hero as All Might is left completely shocked by the way he used his powers because it was an obvious way to use it, yet something none of them thought would work. "I never thought of it like that, but yes, well, he does create cracks. For a few seconds, Midoriya turns space into a sort of surface. That's really incredible," Momo would say. "See?" Bakugo would say. "I'm surprised he didn't make everything shake, but I guess even at that kind of low power, it's still really strong enough to push him really far," Hagakure would say. As Deku stands and watches everyone heading over, All Might would then say that was impressive. "Where'd you get the idea?" "It's actually something that came from the sports festival. When no one attacked us, all we could do was observe. So one of the kids from 1B could turn his breath into solid shapes and platforms, so I thought, hey, interesting, and here we are." As he began to laugh at how smart he was, All Might thought that while his appearance may be deceiving to others, he is very smart for his age and how he comes up with his techniques. After their race ends, everyone then gets a turn and then goes back to class where they are told about the end of term tests. While they do, of course, promise to study, some didn't in the end as the test came nearer and nearer until Momo ended up suggesting a study group and some agreed to come while those like Todoroki, Deku, Bakugo, and Ida stayed on their own, and so some people like Mina or Kirishima joined in. They stayed studious until the day came, but aside from the written exams, they were also not exactly aware of what they were up against after that. They are told to change into their costumes, and after doing so, they come onto the sidewalk where buses are ready to take them for the testing they were about to go on. But the ones who were going to drive them were their teachers, and as they stood before them looking more stern than usual, Kaminari would ask, "Why are all the teachers out here?" "Yeah, I thought this test was about the robots again," Mina would say. However, Aizawa would say not exactly, as from his scarf then pops out Nezu. "The hell? You were hiding in there the whole time?" Deku would exclaim. "Yep. Oh, could you help me down, please?" Nezu would ask, and 13 would then help him get down, and after doing so, he then says that from now on, tests and this whole curriculum will include much more real-life battles. "We can't afford to get caught at our weakest, so we must prepare for everything. So you'll be having a go at us, even I'll be fighting." This comes as a shock to them, and clearly they are nervous, as Aizawa then says Todoroki and Momo are with him, but he then tells everyone who they will be fighting as well. Soon, only Deku and Bakugo were left, as the two would then fist bump knowing who they were up against, and everyone knew who was the only hero left for them, and from behind them, All Might would then walk up with this, actually without his weights on, and he would say, "Alright, let's see how you take me on, Wonder Duo." "Sure thing, but don't cry afterwards," says Bakugo. "Bakugo, chill, man. Seriously," Kirishima would say. "I love the spirit, though." So you would then say, "That's gonna be tough, but it's a good thing it's the two of them together. Come to think of it, I've never seen you guys fight before." As everyone realizes this, Deku then says it doesn't matter. "Just know when this finishes, it'll be a complete, utter victory." So each pair gets on their own buses and head to a certain terrain or site, while Recovery Girl is in the monitoring room to watch all the fights, and Deku and Bakugo are already brought to their site, and the same goes for the others. And as they hear Recovery Girl talk, she would say this: "The test will be starting in 2 minutes, so get ready. Once it does, you have 30 minutes to either capture your teachers with the cuffs you have, or get out of the gate, or beat them. Either one goes. Good luck, and Midoriya, try not to break too much." He would then put a thumbs up to a camera and says that he will try, and the two then go back to walking and check on everything they have. "He didn't wear the bracelets, so he must realize how dangerous your quirk is," Bakugo would say. "Then we'll use that to stunt him, and you can come in with an explosion. Keep defending, and I'll start a combo. Good?" Bakugo would say. Deku would then say good, just as All Might would then appear right in front of them, and specifically Deku with a punch, but Deku holds his hand out, covering it with Haki, and as All Might would strike, sparks of black just release as a massive shockwave would crater Deku deep into the ground, with him then falling to one knee, but with a smile, he tanks the blow as Bakugo would then stun All Might, blinding him with a stun grenade, but Deku then slams an uppercut into the hero's stomach and pushing him back a bit, before Bakugo then blasts towards All Might, throwing a giant explosion at him point blank range. "They're so natural with teamwork, it's almost bizarre," All Might thought. However, he is of course not fazed by the explosion, although it does burn part of his costume off, and he swipes away the smoke before he then goes to slam another fist into Bakugo's stomach, only for him to then be pulled back by Deku, who then meets All Might's attack instead with his own fist, and as they clash, All Might is sent flying as a shockwave would rip up the ground for miles, causing an earthquake. "You want to finish him or get out? Honestly, I'm fine with either one," Bakugo would say. He then clenches onto Bakugo at his costume and says that he knows what his answer is, and he then throws him towards All Might, and with a huge grin, Bakugo will then begin to spin, while All Might barely manages to get himself up, and as he does, he gets blasted across the face, and this time he gets directly impacted and slams to the ground. "Move out of the way, Bakugo!" As Bakugo hears this, he then blasts off to the side, just as when All Might starts to kind of get up again, he begins to feel the ground shake beneath him and shake uncontrollably, and an explosion occurs, causing everything to start crumbling. As it does, Recover Girl would then sigh, saying, "Well, it is All Might. Better safe than sorry, I guess." Back at the fight, as Deku causes a massive quake, he looks and sees Bakugo flung out of a huge dust cloud. "Warn me next time, you idiot! It's All Might," Deku would say. "We can't do strategies." Also, I'd yelled, so you're welcome. Slowly, All Might would then begin to stand again and feels everything hurt all over, like everything. "All I feel is pain. I wonder if that was his full power." Slowly, as the dust clears, he then finds the entire area left leveled, and he has a look of shock as he then sees Deku charging up a quake, cracking the world once again. Bakugo flies above him. Deku then holds out the cuffs as well, and he yells, while releasing Haki, "Stand down, villain!" This takes All Might to his knees instantly, as he has never felt Deku's Haki up close like he has now, and he felt an overwhelming presence. But he is the #1 hero, and was not going to take this lying down. He started to get up until he fully stood and even took a step, freaking out Bakugo, but it also made him and Deku excited. I never had to apply more pressure than this, so stay down. His eyes would gleam with a red flash, and instantly All Might would then fall over as Bakugo would then quickly fly over and cuff him. "In under 2 minutes, we just beat the #1 hero." A shocked Recover Girl would then say over the monitors that Bakugo and Deku had already passed. As they hear this, well, they're surprised. They aren't really they're not surprised, but they are shocked because All Might didn't wear his bracers. He didn't have anything holding him back, and even against the #1, that's insane. But they are the perfect duo, and they must be now that they've heard what they just did. Took down the #1 hero in 2 minutes. As the two would then pass, and they are of course walking side to side. They're walking by side to side of All Might. They have him cuffed and all that. They're escorting him out of the gate, and I would say, "Good work." If this were to go on the news, everyone would go crazy. It's not like the school's gonna release footage of our symbol being beaten by some kids, Bakugo would say. Also, it's not really a victory. You weren't fighting at full strength, Deku would say. All Might, however, would laugh, saying he was, just as Deku would then tap him on the side, and he would slightly wince in pain. "That's what I meant." "What? How does he know?" All Might thought. "Don't worry, he won't say anything," Bakugo said. The hero is amazed at these kids and can only laugh as he then thanks them, but then he also asks if he can be uncuffed. "Let us enjoy this a bit. We just beat you." "Jeez," Deku would say. Alright, All Might said. As they reach the gate, they take the cuffs off and get back to the bus and to the monitoring room. And as they arrive, Deku would then run up to Recover Girl and he kneels by her, asking if anyone else is close to passing. "Very excited, aren't you?" Recover Girl said. "Well, I figured if we won that fast, then they'd try even harder," Deku would say. "Well, you were correct," All Might would say. And as he says this, Momo and Todoroki finish their test and get past the gates together, putting a huge grin on Deku's face as he also sees Todoroki put a thumbs up. "This is good and all, but how are you guys gonna exactly train Izuku at the camp?" Bakugo asked. As he asked this question, Recovery Girl and All Might become quiet. "You haven't figured it out?" Deku would ask. We're working on it," All Might would say. Eventually, everyone finishes, and some pass while some don't, and they don't exactly. Yeah, they don't pass. Sorry, guys. And it is ended. And the next day, it was as if a funeral was occurring, as in Class 1A, Kirishima, Aoyama, Mina, and Sato were sure they had failed. "Okay, you guys are being overdramatic," Deku would say. "Of course you'd say that," Kaminari would yell. "What's that supposed to mean? I'm trying to cheer you up here," Deku would say. Kaminari would then say, "Well, we all failed the practical exams, and honestly, we're most likely going to be stuck here. It could just be another trick from the sensei, as usual," Todoroki says. Ida would then say, "Indeed, I assume he would walk out and say, it was all a ruse." Well, hopefully. As he says this, Asahi would then slide the doors open and walk in, telling them to all sit down, and as they do, they wait to hear the news. He goes up to the podium and begins to talk. "As you are aware, some of you didn't exactly pass, but that means you're all still going to the Forest Lodge." This shocks the previously sad students, as Deku would then say, "See, I told you." "Don't get me wrong, you will be taking lessons to make up for your failure, so don't get too happy yet," as I would say. "Oh, come on," Mina would say. "Well, at least we're still all going together." As school came to an end, everyone prepared to go to the mall to get some stuff, since the boot camp is for an entire week, and later they go to Kiyashi Ward shopping mall. "Yo, Bakugo, I think I ripped up my last tank top," Deku would say. "I thought your mom was gonna take you. I swear, you're having the weirdest growth spurt, man." As they walk off, Deku then says they forgot to go after the whole camping trip, and as they walk off, Uraka wants to follow, but she feels she will be intruding and interrupting, so she goes with Ida. As Deku and Bakugo go get some clothes, though, they end up meeting some people who want pictures. It was a family, and it was a parent and 2 kids, 1 boy, 1 girl. And yeah, they wanted a picture, so Deku would say, "Alright then." As he then picks up the little girl and puts her on his shoulder, and Bakugo does the same for the boy. "You're so tall, is it hard finding clothes your size?" the girl would ask. I've ripped over 10 pants in the past week, Deku would say, and this makes the girl and boy burst into laughter, which makes Deku happy as Baku then tells him to say cheese, and they take a picture. We then cut to the two prominent classes gathering at their bus in the morning, a few days later, with Monoma being excited. "Oh, class 1A, you're taking supplementary classes? What a blunder. I thought you were supposed to be the best of the best. Huh? Huh?" As he begins to laugh uncontrollably, however, Kendo knocks him out as she apologizes to the class as usual, and she says, "I figured Midoriya would have told him off. Where is he?" As she asks this, Bakugo would then point behind as Class 1B then see him nervously talking on the phone. "Yes, Mom, I got it. Yet, why wouldn't I bring underwear? I got everything." His mom's real serious about this, Bakugo said. "I don't think I've ever seen that guy get nervous about anything. It's kind of satisfying," Shishida would say. "Indeed," Rin would say. Tokage would then say, "Seriously though, how is he going to train without the entire place shaking?" And Blacking then walks up saying they found a way, but it will restrict him a lot. He will mostly be working on his negating abilities and hockey. Kendo would then say, "Oh yeah, he can cancel quirks. I don't know why he doesn't use it often. That's really powerful," Kendo would say. "He thinks it's unfair and ruins a fight," Bakugo would say, as he then heads off wishing luck to the others. Soon the classes leave on their own buses and spend an hour on the road until they come to a rest stop, and Class 1A stops near a cliff and are allowed to get off. As they yawn and stretch, they come out to the scenery and wonder why Class 1B didn't come here. They also see a car, out of which two people walk out of, and quickly they recognize them as Mandalay and Pixie Bob would pose. "Nice to meet you, Class 1A. Hello, Isaiah," Mandalay would say. "I assume you know who they are," Isaiah would say. "We will be using their territory to train." Mandalay then walks near the end of the cliff, pointing to the base of a mountain. "That's where we'll be staying for the time being." "Then why did we stop halfway?" Uraraka would mutter. "Guys, I have a bad feeling about this," Sir would say. "Maybe we should just head back to the bus, right?" The look on Mandalay and Pixie Bob's face then turned more sinister and playful, making the students realize something bad was about to happen. Kirishima would then yell, "Crap, let's just run!" As Kirishima yells though, he soon stops as he and everyone see Deku leap past them towards and down into the forest. "Me first!" He then starts to descend down to the forest as Bakugo and Todoroki would jump off as well, with explosions and ice. "Don't get ahead of yourself, Midoriya," Todoroki would say. And Pixie Bob would say, "Those two have the right idea. So, should I just throw you down there, or..." She's then caught off by the others, instantly following after the three, much to the shock of the two heroes, as by this point, Koda would then come out of the car and see them jumping into the forest like idiots, and he calls them idiots. As the class then lands down below, instantly they feel the earth quake as they see Deku then explode a weird sort of creature and beast with this tremor spheres, but another beast then runs out. Instantly, Bakugo and Todoroki then attack, flash freezing and exploding and causing an explosion, as Bakugo would then say to back off on his prey. "No thank you," Todoroki would say. Deku then runs forward, saying to hurry up, and quickly everyone follows, just as Mineta would then begin to fall from above, and he is caught by Kaminari. "What took you so long?" Kaminari asked. "I had to relieve myself." "What? Ugh!" He then drops Mineta to the floor as he would then yell, "I meant peeing, god damn it!" From above, already Pixie finds her forces being decimated as the forest would explode with quakes, and she would say, "That kid doesn't know what it means to hold back. At this rate, they're gonna get there too fast. I'm gonna have to try a bit harder." She becomes a bit more serious, giving her monsters much stronger forms, only for one of them to be blown to bits by Bakugo, making her scream as she keeps trying to hold them off. "They follow right after like a pack of rabid animals," Mandalay said. "It's only to be expected they follow Midoriya. He's become a sort of pillar for them. I give it 1 hour tops until they reach the camp, maybe even earlier." As he gets on the bus, Mandalay would then say he has become very attached to this class, and he said it's really not a big deal. As the teachers make it down to the camp, they then wait about 50 minutes, and after that, a sweating Deku then runs out with a huge smile on his face. "They really didn't let up, huh guys?" "I give up. That kid cannot be human," Pixie Bob would yell. "That's so rude," Deku would say. As he says this, he then sees Koda and waves to him with a smile, only for Koda to then scoff at him, pissing off Deku. But then his haki tells him otherwise about this kid. He's not just being bratty. He lost someone, Deku thought. As this thought comes to mind, slowly the 1A class walks out from the forest. Ida has exhausted his engines, Bakugo's shoulders are destroyed, and just his arms in general are done. And meanwhile, Deku is just looking a bit more serious. He's not really affected. And after all this, everyone gets their stuff from the bus and gets settled into the home. They get to eat, which is really tough for everyone since Deku naturally eats a lot and he took most of the food. They then go to the onsen and begin to relax when Ojiro then asks what the hell Mineta is doing. As he presses his ears to the wall separating them from the girls, he breathes in and then out, just listening to the gift that God himself has presented us with. Ida, as he enters the water, then tells him to stop, or in a few seconds he'll be out cold. "Right, Midoriya," Mineta says, "but
I have to.
Before he can even finish his thoughts, his eyes go blank and he falls backwards as Deku would then say, "You really need to control yourself, man." "Hey, does anyone know who that little kid was?" "You mean the kid with the hat?" Tokoyami says. Deku would then nod and Tokoyami says, "Maybe he's related to the Wawa Pussycat somehow." Deku would then lay back looking at the sky. That kid's definitely been through some shit, he thought. Cut to the next day and we find Class 1B walking towards the training area, and by this point it was 1 PM. "Alright, Class 1A got all the attention last time, but this is our time to shine," Vlad King would say. "Don't worry, we won't disappoint you, sir," Tetsu would say. "I know you won't," Vlad King would say, "but you're here to surpass your limits, so this may still be a bit for you." As they near the area, they soon come across the training area that the students can only describe as a hell made of self-abuse. Kaminari was shocking himself to learn control of his electricity, Todoroki was releasing his two elements one after another, Tokoyami had to go to a dark cave to control Dark Shadow with far more efficiency. It was just crazy. "Wait, what's that?" Kendo would ask as she points to a certain gigantic gray wall behind the forest, and they then feel a slight quake, and they realize it, as Monoma would then say, "So, that's where they're training Midoriya? He's there, right?" As Liking nods, we then cut to Deku standing on a stage much similar to the one at the festival, while he holds a bow staff in his hand. "I'm gonna go a bit faster now, okay?" Cementos would say. Deku would then nod as he slowly then looks around, and he senses and leaps towards a cement slab going for him. He would envelop his staff with armament, and he strikes it. It turns to cement and a much more liquid form and explodes since he cancelled the quirk. However, two more instantly then come out. He leaps towards them, forming a tremor sphere on his armament-enhanced staff, and he would then strike the air, causing a crack as a shockwave would then blow them to pieces. "No quakes. Right, sorry," Deku would say. While in mid-air, however, a gigantic pillar would then come from below and slam into him as it then takes him to the sky, but he would then thrust into it with armament, turning it to nothing but normal cement. "Can you go even faster?" the student would ask, and Cemento says with pleasure. As he says this, 5 more instantly then release, and Deku moves at blinding speed, smashing through all of them with the staff, turning them to normal cement once again with his haki. He lands down and would find gigantic spikes charging towards him, and as they reach him though, he raises his staff and spins it with a scream as he would then release a dark wave of haki that rips through them, cancelling out Cementos' quirk again, but this was the first time he did what they've been training for. He manifested a physical form already, Cementos thought. "Alright Izuku, don't forget that feeling, I'll keep going." Deku starts to go right ahead as he then gets ready, saying, "I never thought I'd be using weapons, but this actually feels kind of natural." Back on the other side, all the 1B class saw sparks of lightning and cracks in the air, but they are in a daze and just kind of surprised that, first off, he's even not destroying everything, but they also just see that his training session must be intense. But then they are snapped out of it and find the terrifying face of a tiger before them. "Ah, it's a cat!" "No, a pussycat," Tiger would say. "You need to worry about yourselves instead of Midoriya." The other Wawa pussycats then arrive, introducing themselves, their quirks, and how they will be helping them. "Well, we can't fall behind, so please take care of me, sir," Tetsu would say. "That's the spirit. Let's begin, you slowpokes," Tiger would yell. As training continues, it soon stops at 4 PM, and 1A leaves, and 1B does their hours of training as well. As night falls, 1A then has to make their own food, but do so and start to eat. "Get the hell off my port, you jackass," Bakugo would say, as he would be kicking away Deku, who was still hungry even after finishing 2 plates. "Go hunt a boar or something," Bakugo would yell. "Oh yeah, I could do that." "You just realized that?" Bakugo would scream. Deku then gets off him and sprints into the forest, as Melody would then ask if it's really safe. Midoriya doesn't really need his quirks to hunt. He's what you would call a natural behemoth, Satsu would say. A complete Neanderthal, Kaminari would say. "A weirdo," Bakugo would say. "And you're sure you're all his friends?" Mendeley would ask. "Of course we are," Kaminari would say. As he says this, they all then hear Deku yell with a laugh as he then makes a tree fall, and Ragdoll with a look of shock says they're not wrong about the Neanderthal thing. Deku, while hunting a boar, ended up taking down a tree by accident, but as he got his prey and put it over his shoulder, his haki would flare, and he looks up to sense Koda atop the mountain before him. We then go to Koda as he sits near the cliff of the mountain, just looking off into the sky when he begins to hear rumbling. "What is that?" he thought, as he then turned to see Deku running over with a smile, causing him to freak out because from his perspective, he seemed like a rampaging beast. "What the hell are you doing here?" "I came to eat." "The hell are you doing here?" Deku would say. "This is my spot. Leave." Deku then slams his board into the ground, saying, "Alright, I'm gonna start eating." "Leave!" Koda would yell. And this brings us to the end of this part. Welcome to the end of the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and you can see I'm trying to be consistent with this shit. I got you. I promise to do better from now on. I sound like I'm making a declaration, but it might as well be a declaration, because I have the equipment now, I have no excuses, and I get more recording time, because I just have a bit more quiet, I guess, so thanks to, you know, my cousins and uncles and aunts for being considerate, I guess. Not that they're really thinking about it, they're just trying to relax. I'm over here screaming and shit. Regardless, I hope you guys did enjoy this part. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to stay updated on all of my videos. And yeah, that's about it. Stay safe and tell me down in the comments how you're doing today, because I would love to know. And this is where we're going to end it off. Peace.
Oh darling, if I had bought you flowers, would you still be here by my side? Yeah, I thought this moment could be ours, while I'm walking on you through the night. You can break my bones, break all the promises, but leave me alone. Don't break my heart. You should fucking stay with him.